could put in the microwave and the presto wisdom. They're not ready to let it cook. They're not ready for the cooking season.
They're the one-day harvest.
Right.
You already need the seeds, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Let me get this right here. This is off here. Wait then. That's James chapter 5, verse 7. James 5 and 7, man. It's going into what I was saying about being patient. To let prophets cook, man. Let us show you the history, man. James 5 and 7. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth. Going to what you're saying about the one-day harvestman, man. It says the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it, until he receive the early and latter rain. That's the legal you have it, man. We have to be patient. As a husbandman, when he plants the seed, he's waiting for the seed to grow and the harvest to be ready, man. The same way when we're putting the seed into your man, just wait and let us cook, man. We're going to show it all to you. But anyway, let me jump back down to 2 Maccabees chapter 6. In the middle of verse 6, it says, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. Right? So it says, and in the day of the king's birth, every month, they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. You see that? So every birthday of the king, we were forced to eat things, man, that we shouldn't be eating. Eat things of their sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. Right? Bacchus was the Greek god of wine and revelry and partying, man. That's why you see certain, I believe there's a certain winery in London, it's called Bacchus, man. And over in Jamaica, there's actually carnivals called Bacchanalians, right? Because Bacchus, that was the Greek god of wine and revelry and partying, right? And festive. So let me read it. So it says, moreover, there went out, it's the verse 8, moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. You see, you had a large portion of the Israelites that were forced into the same fashions of the Greeks, man. Reading on. So it says, and whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery. For there were two women brought who had circumcised their children, who when they had openly led round about the city, the babes hanging at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall. You see that's how deep it was. Some women that circumcised their children on the 8th day according to the law of Abraham. They kept that same custom of their ancient forefathers. What happened? Their children were killed and hung about their necks. And those very same women were thrown down from the castle walls, man. Right? To show you that it was against a fashion at the time to follow your own laws, man. To be who you are as an Israelite. You're put to death. You see? You're persecuted for just calling yourself an Israelite and keeping the law. Right? So it says, read it on, the last verse. So it says, and others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly, being discovered to Philip, were all burned together. You see, you had a lot of portion of the Israelites that were forced into the same fashions of the Greeks, man. Right? To show you that it was against a fashion at the time to follow your own laws, man. To be who you are as an Israelite and keeping the law. Right? So it says, and others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly, being discovered to because they made a conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day. You hear that? So even the certain brothers that ran into a cave to keep the Sabbath day pure, when they were found out, they were burned alive, man. You see that? So going back to what I was reading in Mark chapter 7, verse 26. Right? The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation. Now what does that mean, a Syrophoenician? She came from those borders of Syria and Phoenicia. Phoenicia pretty much is like the, I believe that's like the Greek term for Canaan, or Canaan. Right? She was from those areas, Syria and Phoenicia. But she was a Greek, she spoke the Greek, she dressed up as a Greek, but she was living in those regions. She was a citizen of those regions. Like now, we're Londoners. We're British by citizenship, but by nationality, we're Israelites.
That's what I said to the guy yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like, so if I'm in London, even though I'm from Mexico, if I'm in London, if I'm in Detroit, I was tracking yesterday. Does that mean you're a Londoner, yes or no?
Right.
He's like, oh no, because you're from Essex. But he's from like New York. I'm like, wow. That doesn't make, like, if, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm from Nigeria and I'm in London, doesn't make me a Nigerian now. You know what I'm saying?
You see?
Because you're the product of your environment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, relax it, man.
Let me get this right here. This is Genesis chapter 25. Genesis 25, verse 19, right? I want to prove a point. Genesis chapter 19. Lock you up. Genesis chapter 19, verse. Lock you up. Wait. Genesis 25, Salakio. 25, verse 19, Salakio. Genesis chapter 25, verse 19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, right? And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister to Laban, the Syrian. Do you understand? It says, it talks about in Padanaram, the sister to Laban, the Syrian. Why? Because you were dwelling in those regions of Syria. Okay? Let me get this right here. So lock you up. Genesis 28, verse 1. Wait, so lock it. It's about Deuteronomy 26, so lock it. Deuteronomy chapter 26. Verse 5. Deuteronomy chapter 26, verse 5. And thou shalt speak and say before Yahweh thy God, a Syrian ready to perish was my father. And he went down into Egypt and sojourned there with a few and became there a nation great, mighty, and populous. So there you go, you have it. A Syrian was my father, which is who Jacob, man. Right? Yeah, but he was running, he was a citizen of Syria. That's what I mean, he was a Syrian. Like, I'm British. I cried because I was dwelling in Britain. But my national, I'm an Israelite. Right? So Jacob was what, a Syrian, because he was dwelling in that region. Right? But he descended from who? He descended from Abraham, man. He was a Hebrew. You see that what I'm saying? So there you go, there you have it. Right, here. So let me jump back down to Mark 7 and verse 26 again. The woman was a Greek, a Syro-Phoenician by nation, meaning she was dwelling in those regions of Syria and Phoenicia. Phoenicia, again, like I said, that was, again, that's where Canaan was. That's like the Greek way of saying a Canaan. Right? Phoenicia. Or Tyre and Sidon. Yeah, Mark here. Mark 7 and 26. The woman was a Greek and a Syrophoenician by nation, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. But Yahweh said unto her, that the children first be filled. For it's not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to dogs. Now, what did it mean by that the children first be filled? Let me go to Zechariah. Zechariah chapter 12, verse 7. Zechariah 12, verse 7. Right? So it says, Zechariah chapter 12, verse 7. The Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. Right, so that's why the Lord came to the Jews first, man. Right, the Jews that knew they were Jews, that kept the, the high holy days, they kept the laws, that kept the commandments, right? Right, the Pharisees there, the Lord went to them first. But this woman here, she was of another tribe, man. She was most likely of another tribe, or she was a scattered Jew, man, that didn't know she was a Jew. She was scattered, man. She was an Israelite, definitely, but she was probably most likely of another tribe. And that's why the scripture says what? Let the children be filled first. Meaning what? That the Jews hear this word first. And then what? Paul, he was an apostle to who? The Israelite foreigners, the Gentiles, man. Then they will come after. That's what I said, the Jew first and then the Greek. Let me get that, Salako. Let me get Luke 24 and 47. This is Luke chapter 24, verse, let me start from verse 47. Right? 47. This is Luke 24, verse 47. And that repentance and remission of sins shall be preached in his name among all nations, beginning at Jerusalem. Going into what I was saying, the Jew first, man. And then to who? The Israelite foreigners. And that's why Yahweh called her a dog. Why? Because this salvation has to be preached first to the Jews that knew it in Jerusalem first, and then to Israelite foreigners, man. Because remember, she was a scattered Israelite. She was scattered. Right? And why did Yahweh call her a dog? Let's get that. Let's go to Acts chapter 10. Acts chapter 10, verse 10. Let's go into why Yahweh shall refer to her as a dog. Pretty much a heathen. Right? Let's go into that. Acts chapter 10, verse 10. And he became very hungry and would have eaten. But while they made ready, he fell into a trance. Let's talk about Peter, the apostle Peter. He said, and saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners and let down to the earth, right? So Peter is experiencing what? A vision. He fell into a deep sleep and he visualized something. A sheet knitted to the four corners. Now who's scattered to the four corners? Who's scattered to the four corners? The Israelites. There you go. So this is a vision that he's seeing about the Israelites, Israelite foreigners, man. Let's read on. And let down to the earth, wherein were all manner, is the point, of four-footed beasts of the earth. Right, so what's a dog? A dog is a four-footed beast. Right? Wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. Right? Because Peter didn't really understand what he was visualizing. That is metaphoric. When the voice said, Arise, kill and eat, those four-footed beasts and whatnot, Peter's thinking literally like, I should kill and eat. But he don't realize that it's metaphoric. Meaning these Israelite foreigners can be accepted in. They can be taken into the fold. So we read on, so it says, and the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. And what are you being cleansed by? What are you spiritually being cleansed by? Well, let's get it. This is Psalms right now. Psalms 119 verse 9. Psalms 119 verse 9. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. Right, so what's that? Going back to Acts chapter 10, what God has cleansed, call not thou common, meaning what? These Israelite foreigners can be cleansed by what? The word of the Heavenly Father. Right, they can be accepted if they receive the word, man. Going into this woman, as we were talking about, that's Greek, she speaks Greek, dressed Greek, but she was an Israelite, right? She was a scattered Israelite, dwelling in the regions of Syria and Phoenicia. She was cleansed by what? Receiving the word. And that's why Yahweh healed her. He was her daughter. Because she had the faith. She believed, man. But why did he call her a dog? Because she was scattered. Going into this vision that Peter received about on the sheep near to the four corners, on it were what? Four-footed beasts, what? Dogs. And if they receive what the Lord has cleansed them by the word, they can receive, they can be accepted. Right? So again, verse 16, this was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now while Peter, is the point, now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house and stood before the gate. Right, so Peter was troubled by trying to understand what that vision should mean. So let me jump down to verse 28 now. Verse 28. And he said unto them, Ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. But God has showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. So there you go, they have it, man. So a Jew, that's right, and that's deep, because even Peter himself, when he was sitting with the Israelite foreigners, man, when the Jews came in, he quickly switched seats and started sitting with the Jews, and then Paul had to confront him and say, why are you being a hypocrite for? Don't you know that those same Israelite foreigners, they can be accepted in, because the tradition was that a Jew, a man that's a Jew, you can't keep company with an Israelite foreigner. You can't even do that. Why? Because they're seen as heathens. They're not even seen as Israelites. They're cast away. They're scattered, man. You can't keep company with them. That was the tradition. They're out of the congregation. They're heathens. They're no different than the other nations, man. They're no different. Right? Let me read that again. It says, verse 28, and he said unto them, Ye know how there is a lawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. But the Most High showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. Meaning what? He said Israelite foreigners can be accepted back in. They can be grafted back into the olive tree, man. They can be grafted back in. Let me get that in Acts and Galatians. I'm going to close out in a minute. This is Galatians chapter 2, verse 11. Galatians chapter 2, verse 11. Right? Then we're going to close out in a minute. Last few verses, then we're going to close out. Galatians chapter 2, verse 11. But when Peter was come to Antioch, where's Antioch? Antioch is in Turkey, western Turkey, west parts of Turkey. I withstood him to the face, because he was to be blamed. For before that certain came from James, he did eat with the Gentiles. But when they were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which are of the circumcision. Right? And the other Jews dissembled likewise with him, insomuch that Barnabas also was carried away with their dissimulation. What does that mean? That means when he was sitting with the Israelite foreigners, you know, the quote-unquote Gentile Israelites. He was sitting and eating with them. But as soon as he saw them of the circumcision, meaning what? The Jews, the traditional Jews that practice the laws and commandments, he separated. He didn't want to sit with them, no, he started sitting with them now. He didn't want to be seen sitting with them. Because according to the law, it's unlawful for a man that's a Jew to be sitting with an Israelite foreigner. So he immediately dissembled, and Barnabas, and he's in the truth too, and certain other brothers in the truth, they got carried away because they saw what Peter was doing, man, acting like a hypocrite. Here he's preaching that Israelites to the four corners can also be gathered as well, but he's showing hypocrisy, man. He doesn't want to be sitting. He doesn't want to be seen sitting with them. He don't want to be seen in public with them as soon as the Jews arrive. You see? So let me read on. So it says, verse 14, but when I saw that they walked not uprightly, according to the truth of the gospel, I said unto Peter before them all. So Paul directly went up to Peter, man, and said this. I said unto Peter before them all, if thou, being a Jew, livest after the manner of the Gentiles, and not as do the Jews, why compellest thou the Gentiles to live as do the Jews? We who are Jews by nature are not sinners of the Gentiles, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Yahweh Shai. There you go, there you have it, man. So Paul had to confront Peter about his hypocrisy. Okay? There you go, there you have it. Yeah, that's just to answer your point about the Sarah woman, or that woman from Canaan, and she asked Yahweh Shai to heal her daughter. She was from those regions. She spoke the Greek, most likely dressed up that way, but she was an Israelite, and that's why Yahweh Shai healed her. She had faith. Remember, the Most High is not going to give the gift of faith to a person of an actual other nation of people. Let me get that right now. This is Psalms. We prove that in Psalms right now. Psalms 147, verse 19. Psalms 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. There you go, there you have it, man. The God don't change. So the word it says she was a Syrophoenician by nation. The Lord ain't going to deal with a person of another nation of people. Okay? It just so happened that woman was dwelling in those regions. She was an Israelite though, man. That's why the Lord healed her. Healed her daughter. So lucky. Right? He have not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. Mark. That's the point. Now let me get this right here in Psalms. I want to finish this off real quick. Psalms 106, verse 34. Psalms 106, verse 34. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. And they served their idols. So we as a people, we are mingled among the nations and served their gods, which were a snare unto them. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan, and the land was polluted with blood. That's what you got to have. Going into how people scattered and learned the works, worshiping their idols, man. Right? We're now going into last precept, the last precept, man. I mean it. Revelation chapter 5, verse 9. Revelation 5 and 9. Chapter 5, verse 9. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain. Right, Yahweh was slain. He was the sacrificial lamb on the cross, right? And has redeemed us to the Most High by thy blood, is the point, out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. Right, so the Lord, remember we were scattered among them. So now we've been redeemed, delivered out of all these nations. So going into what I was talking about. And that's the great mystery that the majority of our people don't understand. Anyway, with that, we'll close out. I'm going to say, Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahweh Shai, Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahweh Shai, Barakah Yahweh, Barakah Yahweh Shai, Barakah Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba Hashem, Bakar Kodash, Kwa Mesha'ala, Kwa Mesha'ala, Kwa Mesha'ala, Kwa Mesha'ala, Yahweh Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakah Yahweh.